I feel particularly honored to be here at Interlink because this was the first self-help center in Santa Rosa that I ever worked at. So it's a real honor to be here today talking with both of you. And Claire, because maybe you've been here a little longer, I wondered if you can you share how Interlink started? Do you know much about its
Well,
inception?
I do know a lot of stories, and I don't know if they're all accurate because it does depend on the source. But what I think happened was in 1996, a bunch of peers came together, mental health peers, that wanted support from each other rather than the medical model, rather than the psychiatrists, the hospitalizations, I guess, a lot of things were not done kindly. And so people came together to support each other, to make sense of their situations, their worlds, their interpretations together, and to support each other. And that was done, that started actually at a location next door, or in Santa Rosa, but didn't start at this location. It started next door to a community support network house called Opportunity House. I think that's correct.
I think that's right.
Yeah, and so it was just people coming together to support each other, like I've said over and over. But I think what's important is that they didn't have, they weren't connected to any other organization. They were just connected to each other and supporting each other. And I think what happened then was they got in touch with Sam Tuttleman, who helped bring Interlink to fruition from Goodwill. And there were meetings held among all the different participants. And yeah, there was a ribbon cutting, and Interlink came to fruition in 1996 and was, I believe, the first peer support center in Santa Rosa.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure. Maybe Sonoma County, I'm not sure. But, yeah.
So maybe I could ask both of you, like, just what do you find meaningful and about providing peer support and being a part of, facilitating peer support in whatever ways you do? What does that mean to you both individually?
Well, for me, I had no idea what peer support was until a little over a year ago, and once I realized what it was, I fell in love. I felt so at home. I felt welcome. I felt connected. So being able to give that back just feels amazing. My background is in addiction, so struggling with that for many years. You feel alone, you feel isolated. That resulted in many mental health crises, and just really having a feeling of not having anyone understand me or what I was going through. So coming here, being and being a peer support now is extremely meaningful to me, because that means that I can be the person that's like, hey, I know what you're going through, and I'm here. It's going to be okay, let's talk about it, and, there is hope. It's providing hope. And just seeing that in people, not only hope, but just growth in the members here, from being stuck or frustrated or just overcoming challenges. It's extremely rewarding, and it really, it's why I get up in the morning.
Thank you for doing so.
Yeah.
And are you providing counseling around addiction here at Interlink now?
Yes, I am. So I am a registered addictions counselor. Because things are very, this is non-clinical setting at all. So a lot of what I do is combined with peer support. So I do provide some individualized counseling We facilitate SMART recovery groups here, which is different from AA and NA, which is like a 12-step model. I facilitate groups around relapse prevention, and basically anyone that comes in and wants to live a clean and sober life, I help them navigate and take the steps to get there.
Oh, thank you. That sounds really good. And how about you, Claire? How is it for you providing peer support over maybe even over a longer period of time?
Well, I kind of have a story. I like to take pictures of flowers, and I began to notice different flowers that weren't loved and noticed, like at the transit mall, the bushes, or at the gas station, the marigolds. They kind of get, overlooked, and and I kind of started relating that to myself and to my peers, and I just feel like we're unfortunately like a throwaway society, and sometimes we throw away our community, people in our community, and I want to be a part of connection and community and bringing back self-worth and noticing all the flowers, so that's been really poignant to me, just noticing, and also the mindfulness of slowing down and noticing each person, each peer as a different person, and meeting people where they're at and supporting them and hoping, and mutual support is important to me in peer work. Just the trust and the connection that comes out of mutuality, that we know that we both have experienced something similar and can support each other throughout that. So it's really important to me, and at my core. So, yeah.
Thank you for sharing that.
Sure.
I love the analogy. I love your analogy of noticing what's been neglected.
Yeah.
And that brings me to a question. Can you share a little bit about how Interlink is sustained financially? Do you know where your funding is coming from at this time?
Well, what we get funded by SAMHSA, Substance Abuse Mental Health Services Association, or something. But it's SAMHSA. It's federal, and so that's how we're sustainable.
It's good. So you don't get any funding from the Mental Health Services Act. Okay. I just thought I would find out about that, especially given some of the current legislation that's going on to make major changes in the Mental Health Services Act. So we've been wondering how that might affect peer services and innovations and things that have supported diversity and healing practices that are based in community-based healing practices that have really been successful. I'm wondering if you have any idea about how many people do you think Interlink has helped over the years? What's helping? What do you see individually in people's recovery or changes? And then how many people in this community do you think are affected by peer support? What does that look like? Are there hundreds of people or thousands?
Well, I think it's like the ripple effect, and the more we have community and connection at our center, the more community and connection there is out in the community, in the larger community. So it's hard to say, to give a number, really, but I think it's more than hundreds. I think it's vast, and I think we do affect people and their recovery and how they are heard and seen, and people that aren't heard and seen in this community oftentimes will do different things to be heard and seen.
That's right.
And that's okay too, I don't know, but but it's kind of like, yeah, I don't know, maybe Andrea has more to say.
Well, in the year that I've been here, I've definitely seen hundreds of people come through the door. But like Claire was saying, I think that the impact that peer support has, and just here at the center, like the uptick I've seen just from like word of mouth, and just like I mentioned earlier, I've seen people come in here and literally like see the transformation in their lives, whether it's socialization, they're getting out more, they're talking to people, they're feeling more alive and connected, or people that are struggling with substances, they get treatment and then they get jobs, and then they get into housing. Like I've seen this doing this work, and it's inspiring, and that's why I love it, and I'm hope that we get to do this for a very long time, and more people will join us, because it really does impact people in a very positive way.
Thank you.
So go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Hi, my name is Danette Allender, and I am the Program Manager for the Wellness and Advocacy Center.
My name is Michael Reynolds. I'm Peer Programs Coordinator for West County Community Services.
Great. So tell me a little bit about what you do and a little bit about your programs.
Okay, so what I do is I wear many hats. From doing the scheduling of the 41 groups that we have per month, or per week, excuse me. Time cards, time sheets, problem solving, handling issues between whether it be members or sometimes on occasion staff. Just mainly running the facility, making sure that it runs smoothly and that the needs of our membership and staff are taken care of.
And my job is I coordinate. We have 6 different peer programs. We have the 4 peer centers, which Wellness and Advocacy Center, which Danette just described. We also have Interlink Self-Help Center, the Russian River Empowerment Center, as well as Petaluma Peer Recovery Center, which are all day drop-in centers. Then in addition, we have a peer education training program that teaches the peer support specialist training class, as well as doing education for the community about what peer and peer services are. And then our most recently implemented program is called Transitions to Housing, which is one that was developed that came from conversations with our members around those who were moving from being unhoused into transitional housing or permanent supportive housing, and recognizing a need for peer support to help folks navigate that major life transition. And so my role is to coordinate with each of the managers of those programs to help with communication and also staff training, management training, and then also outreach and engagement, finding other community partners with whom we can collaborate.
Okay.
Also at the Wellness Center, we have, for those who do graduate from the peer support training class, we have 2 paid internships every 6 months. And also within Wellness, we have the peer trainee program. We get referrals from DOR as well as the adult services. Basically, that is a 6-month paid trainee. They come in, they're building on their skills. Maybe they need to work on their self-confidence. Perhaps they have been incarcerated or dealing with their own mental health challenges, haven't worked for a while, and they want that experience to be able to go back into the workforce once they get through that training.
So tell me a little bit about who are people that take advantage of your services? Like what, who would come in on a day-to-day basis?
We have several board and cares. Their people come here for the support groups, making new connections. We have the homeless. We have just people out there working on their own recovery, and then join in those particular groups that will support them, whether that be through depression or anxiety or trauma. There's 41 groups here per week, so there's quite an array to choose from.
And are all the programs peer-led?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, they are.
Do you have an idea about how many people that you guys serve on a monthly basis or annually?
I know that our weekly average is about 42. Well, our daily average is 42. Last quarter we had 356 new signups for membership. Monthly average of people that we communicate with and work with on a monthly basis is about 880 people.
And I need to adjust that number because I had a different number in my head. The actual total number of individuals served last fiscal year was nearly 1,200.
Wow.
Fiscal year.
Yeah, so I was thinking about that, and so what does it take to become a part of these programs? What's required of someone to walk in and be involved with a group?
Basically, the only requirement is that they identify as a peer and as having mental health challenges, or they have a family member that they have been supporting through those mental health challenges. We give them a tour. They do the sign-up sheet, which takes maybe 10-15 minutes. And once they sign up, then they are a member for life.
That's great. Do you get a lot of people that come here regularly?
We have a lot of regulars, yes. Some have been coming since 2007 when the Wellness and Advocacy Center made its presence known on the Hill of Sinead.
Awesome. So I guess my other questions have to do with two things. One is sort of, the changing landscape with peer certification. And then the other bit is about how you guys are sustainable as far as funding and that sort of thing. So first I'll ask, are the staff members that you work with, are you guys thinking about peer certification? Are you doing peer certification? I know you guys have a training program. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, all of our peer support specialists here have gone through the training, have received their certification. A few of them have gotten through the state level for the Medi-Cal billing. Do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, so the certification to which Danette is alluding is countywide. The Behavioral Health Division, once someone graduates our class and completes their internship, then they are considered certified peer specialists for Sonoma County. Our organization in particular has decided that we are not going to require peer certification. Our peer education and training program, however, is applying to be one of the state certified programs for training, because we want folks to have the option. The county, our new behavioral health director is a great advocate for peer support, and they have the intention to hire a peer support specialist at the county level. We have one at the crisis stabilization unit, and they will want them to be state certified so they can get reimbursement for Medi-Cal. As far as our sustainability as funding, we have a great relationship with our Board of Supervisors and our Behavioral Health Division. 5 years ago, there was a budget crunch, and because of a lack of understanding of the impact of peer services, there was the possibility that all of our programs are going to get cut. However, due to the advocacy by our members and other organizations and our staff who recognize the impact that we have, that awareness has grown exponentially. And now, when the budget conversations come up, when the Department of Health Services presents their budget for the coming year, one of the first questions that has been asked in the previous 3 years is, what about the peer programs? Where is their line item? And so, out of a horrific trauma for our community of the possibility of all the programs going away, it's definitely been a phoenix rising moment, because now there is a much greater awareness and appreciation for what we do. All that said, with the pending potential MHSA changes that the governor has proposed, and just as budgets wax and wane, we know we'll be in that position again. It's part of working with county contracts, with government contracts, that everybody comes to a place where it comes to a place where the funding changes, and so all we can do is to continue to do the work that we're doing to serve the members in the best way we can, to continue to collaborate with other organizations. That's one of the things that our peer education and training program is doing really well under Eve Harstead, is she is really working to get interns out into other organizations, really working with collaborating with other organizations, so it's not going to be just us advocating when those budget conversations come up, but the whole community is recognizing and benefiting from these programs and from peer support in general.
Thank you. What would it mean for you to lose funding? I mean, you've kind of touched on that, but how big of an impact would that be to programs? Do you get most of your funding from Mental Health Services Act funds, or is it elsewhere?
All of our funding, well, it's sort of, there's always some, I don't deal with the budgets necessarily at the health services there. So because of what I just described as far as with the Board of Supervisors and their understanding, there were 3 years where we were not funded by MHSA, and the Board of Supervisors funded us directly out of general funds because they wanted us to continue operating. That was and is a short-term solution. We have been folded back into the MHSA funding as of now. However, with the proposed changes and potential, even this year, the county was planning to hire anywhere between 12 to 18 peers directly for the county because of the revised budgets based on the anticipated funds that weren't there. There was $21 million they anticipated having that was not there, and so those positions were not added to the county budget. However, if as the MHSA budget goes, so goes every other governmental agency, because it's all tax based, and so as that budget shrinks, local budgets will shrink, and we anticipate being able to continue, and yet there's no guarantee. And as I mentioned, we had nearly 1,200 individuals that are served. We have people that come in almost daily for our services. It's and for many of them, their only social connection, and often we hear it's the only place where folks feel comfortable to come and just be themselves.
We also get funding from our sponsors and a great deal of donations.
And the Interlink Self-Help Center is the one peer center that they do get a significant amount of funding from SAMHSA as well.
Is there anything else that someone who isn't from Sonoma County that you would want them to know about what you do and your services?
Just that we're here as peers with lived experience. We know that others are out there too. This is a great place to come to. It is safe. It's a safe and supportive environment, and we strive very hard to connect with everyone that walks through that door. So everyone is welcome. Can I add one thing I did forget?
Mm-hmm.
We have so much going on here. One of the other programs we have is called Peer Support /MST, and that is a solo position, part-time, where that individual goes to the main adult detention facility and does peer support there as well, and then also to the crisis stabilization unit and makes connections and gives out resources and makes a connection, does the peer one-on-one counseling. So that's another great service that we offer.
What do you think that what you do means to people? Like when they're part of what you do, what does it mean to people? What do people say?
So when they walk through the door and they find a place like this, probably the same thing I said. Oh my gosh, I've found people that I can relate to that aren't going to, point that finger. Being validated and being heard are the two most important things. especially when you've been through the ringer. And when you can find a place like that where you don't have to really hold back and people get you, that's a home away from home. And that's what this place is for me.
Yeah, I think the words that are coming to mind for me are that I hear consistently over and over again are a place of belonging, a place where I feel safe, and a place of hope.
Hello, my name is Peyton Forwood. I work at the Wellness and Advocacy Center in Santa Rosa, California. I am a peer support specialist. Also, I am the assistant program manager here.
Okay. And so what is what is a typical day like for you here at the Wellness and Advocacy Center?
Well, I like to come in and say hi to the members. They usually catch me up on their days and ongoings throughout the hustle and bustle. And then also there is the warm handoff where, I don't know something or have a resource. There's always someone here that I can. And also other members are always engaging in other conversations with each other. So,
What do you like about working here?
well, I don't know if it's a matter of, I think it's more of why wouldn't you want to work here? I have noticed over the years in my own personal experience that something that would take maybe many years to where you work out to get change or understanding, everyone here understands that everyone has different health challenges, whether it is mental health challenges, certain levels of homelessness, and we come together in a cohesive unit and work together with the community through system transformation.
What does it look like to walk into the wellness center for someone?
All right, so if somebody were to walk in, they would see warm, smiling faces, greeted with a hello, hi, are you new? Or even, welcome to the center. And then usually people introduce themselves, and then we'll ask what type of services they need, if there's anything they're looking for help with, and usually go over what the groups are throughout the day.
And what do you think it means to people to be here?
Well, I feel that's pretty simple. You could spend 5, 6, 7, 10 years trying to explain it to a therapist, maybe even to a loved one that will never completely understand it. And we're here, you can spend 2 minutes and someone gets you. It's a part of the community.
That's great. What can you think of some stories of things that you've seen happen that just will forever sit in your mind as remarkable or special or unique? You can think of things that were maybe moments of big change for someone.
I've seen people come in where they've been on the streets, not been able to have access to services, they've not had an ID, and see them pull themselves through groups because they want to change, get an ID, get a car, get a house, all on their own. And to see someone do that on their own, through their own will, and to have that hope is an amazing thing to see, and that is quite rewarding.
And are all the services here voluntary? Does anyone have to come here?
No, it's a self-help center. We have resources that we update almost weekly. We try to. There's a lot of changes through the state and the local level, so we do try to keep up on that. But yeah, somebody can come in and just get any type of resource they need. Also need guidance with building a job application, career search, or even if just need someone to listen to.
And what would it mean if some of those services were to go away? What would that mean to the community?
The services here?
Yes.
Well, I think it would be harder for people to be able to get the basic needs, which is feel a sense of safety, home, shower, laundry, clothes, food, social interaction, being able to catch up with friends. Not everyone has a phone these days. Not everyone can afford one. Play music. It would mean a great deal to the community.
And so those are all things that they can access here.
Correct.
Yeah.
And more. There's many more things here.
Yeah.
I'll just touch on a couple of them.
Great. So is there anything else that you would like to tell people that aren't from Sonoma County that are coming in? What would you want them to know about?
The Wellness Center. Well, the Wellness Center is a part of West County Community Services. We are part of Petaluma Peer Recovery Program, also Interlink, the Empowerment Center, and we are probably the largest unit, or largest building in West County Community Services. And through those other organizations that I described, we have a pretty good reach out in the public as far as services we get, whether it's housing, clothing, or even just looking to get out and re-socialize with people. That's another thing that's great here. Sometimes people don't have a current lived experience that they're going through. They just need to be able to speak with someone and be a part of it. COVID exposed a lot of that to us, that we have been cut off and kind of socially awkward sometimes. So.
One more question. Are you a Medi-Cal peer support specialist, or do you plan to do the state certification exam?
I plan on doing a state certification for the Medi-Cal, yes.
Yeah. And is that important to you, or do you think it will change anything that you do?
Well, I think it's really good for navigating the system and understanding what you can and can bill for is one of the most important things, and also what impact it has on Medi-Cal too going forward. Whether that's peer support or just having access to medical or even challenges in mental health. So.
And right now, none of the people that come into the wellness center or any of those centers have to be tied to Medi-Cal, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Do you see that changing at all? I mean, I know.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I certainly hope it doesn't, because if that were to happen, what if somebody has lost hope or lost everything? Maybe they don't have an ID. Maybe they're in between transition of states, and for someone to have to go through all that just to get Medi-Cal, to get access to services, to be able to come in and take a shower, that doesn't make sense to me.
Anything else you want to add?
That's it.
Well, thank you. We're going to do a tour of the Wellness and Advocacy Center. So here we go.
Welcome to the Wellness and Advocacy Center. Sam and I will show you around a little bit so that you know what the center looks like and what to expect when you come. We look forward to seeing you. Over here we will always have our daily schedule of the groups that we have going on. Also wellness, art groups, things like that, and also community events on the right-hand side. We have a charging station for cell phones, batteries. We've had some weird things come in through here, but we can charge your equipment. We have a small group room, which is for our confidential groups, and we use this one quite often. We also have another group room also for confidential work. We also do our peer support counseling in these two rooms as opposed to in the offices. So the confidentiality is maintained in here. You'll notice that all of the art on the walls is from our members. We have a lot of really talented members who come here. Along this wall are all of the peer support and counselor and assistant managers' offices. Excuse me. We have the main center portion here where we have open mic with karaoke, and also groups that don't entail confidentiality. And we have our computer lab over here. We have multiple art supplies in that corner. We're still working on working that area out. This is our computer lab. You simply sign up on the sheet over to the right, and you can have access to the computers, working on resumes or whatever it is, checking emails that you need to do. We just moved the resource center because it is so much larger and contains a whole lot more resources. So we had to have one area just for that. We have a job board, housing board, and a community board for people who have things they want to sell. This is frequented quite a lot. And over to the left are more offices. We have a place for backpacks, art supplies. We have our drafting table, drawing, to the right, and over here to the left is another area for art, which primarily is for painting. Various paints, acrylic, watercolor. And we have an art group that every first and third Thursday of the month there is an art project, and we have people sign up for that. This is our beading section, and we have more than probably 2 lifetime supplies of beads.
Wonderful. Wow.
People love to bead. It's really meditative. And we have our music area. It is split in 2, which we were kind of worried about that, but actually the acoustics going down that way, it's far nicer. So the drums, the piano, we have electric and acoustic guitars. We also have a keyboard. We have drums, tambourines, maracas, and we have music jam, which is Wednesday. So any of our members that are musically inclined can come in here and just jam away.
I love that.
A lot of talent there too.
Well, I'll zoom back.
Follow me this way. This hallway is set up similar to the other hallway. There are 2 restrooms, and we also have our clothing closet and laundry services back there. We have our members who can get 3 showers a week and 2 loads of laundry. We supply all of the necessary needs for that. We have a community industrial refrigerator. A lot of our members are here all day, so they simply put their name on their bag or their items, and they can keep that here. We have a microwave and a water fountain where they can warm up their stuff or keep it cold in the fridge. We also get food donations. We go to the Redwood Food Bank. We also have a company in Marin, an organization called Extra Food, and they come out and deliver every Tuesday food that is extra from school. So it's really perfect. They're individually like wrapped sandwiches or hot dogs or hamburgers. Warm it up in the microwave. Full belly, happy people. And like I said, the first and last are set up the same. We have 2 showers over on this side now. And back there is our kitchenette where we make coffee that is available every day, throughout the day, and where we keep our supplies for more food.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ashton Kletz. I'm the Executive Director of the Bird Rescue Center here in Santa Rosa, California.
And Ashton, how long have you been with the Bird Rescue Center, and what brought you into this type of work?
I've been with Bird Rescue for about 13 years now, and I had graduated with a degree in environmental studies, which encompasses a lot of different things, and happened to see a commercial about wildlife rehabilitation and followed that path out here to California. Started my career at the Marine Mammal Center and fell in love with the whole prospect of being able to help those who can't help themselves, particularly wildlife, and came up here to Bird Rescue and have been here ever since.
And wow, that sounds very exciting and kind of like you were led by fate and interest. So what type of do you actually do hands-on rehabilitation yourself, or how does the Bird Rescue Center work with the injured birds it finds?
So we have birds come into our rehabilitation hospital. We also have an education aspect with our non-releasable birds. I'm lucky enough to be able to be a participant in both. And so folks that find injured or ill or orphaned animals will bring them to our hospital center, and we'll be able to take care of them to the best of our abilities and be able to get them back out for a second chance at life in the wild. We receive about 3,000 birds per year to our hospital, and over 120 to 150 different species every year.
Wow. And if people are interested in volunteering with you, do you still accept volunteers or?
Yes, so we've been able to reopen our volunteer program, and more information would be on our website at www.birdrescuecenter.org. And we accept volunteers for many facets of the organization, so whatever might be of your interest, whether it's feeding little baby birds in the hospital, working with the large intimidating raptors, and everything in between, we hope to be able to train and have you be a part of our organization.
And what would you like to say to the public and about how we can best support the Bird Rescue Center's mission and efforts in the community?
The best way to support is either by getting directly involved, or if you have an interest in financial contributions to help support everything that we're doing. And so all of our dollars and cents are dedicated to the love and care of the birds, and to be able to either that or spread the word of if you've had an experience with the birds or had a bird in need, to be able to further in the community.
All right. So, in working here, what are some things that you have seen helping you or the staff like in working with the birds? Like, what's that experience like?
I think being a part of nature, and also being able to be so close to these types of animals has been eye-opening, and definitely been a source of comfort, a source of kind of release in some ways, and definitely being able to help and feeling like I'm a part of something bigger.
Wonderful. Thank you. Anything else?
Well, I just want to say while Ashton is here during this interview, just a big thank you from the Pure Mental Health community. We've really valued our connection over the years when we were co-located on Sinead Road. And I just want to reiterate my thanks to your efforts, and also sharing education in the birds with our membership. It meant a lot to people while we were up here. So
Thank
you very
you.
much.